Picture this. The year is 1451 in the bustling city of Genoa, Italy, where a young boy named Christopher Columbus was born. In the labyrinthine streets of this maritime city, Columbus's imagination was ignited by tales of distant lands and daring sea voyages. The prevailing belief of his time was that the world was flat, an expansive disk surrounded by terrifying unknowns. The Americas? Those were a mystery, a blank space on the map as elusive as a mirage. But Columbus, ever the dreamer, had a different vision. He speculated that the world was not a flat disk, but a sphere. And this spherical Earth, he believed, held a direct sea route to the Indies, a path through the uncharted waters of the Atlantic Ocean. Driven by curiosity and ambition, Columbus was determined to prove them wrong and find a new route to the Indies. A fast forward to 1492, Columbus had finally convinced the Catholic monarchs of Spain to sponsor his risky expedition. The monarchs, Queen Isabella and King Ferdinand, agreed to finance this venture, possibly because of the potential wealth and political power that could be gained from establishing a sea route to the Indies. The preparation for this journey was no small feat. It involved a great deal of planning, collection of resources, and recruitment of a dedicated crew. Columbus set about this task with determination and grit, gathering a crew of about 90 men, a mix of experienced seamen and greenhorns eager for adventure. The crew was to embark on 3 ships, the Santa Maria, the Pinta, and the Nina. The Santa Maria, Columbus's own flagship, was a larger, slower vessel, while the Pinta and the Nina were smaller, swifter caravels ideal for exploration. These vessels were not just modes of transport, but would become their home, workplace, and sanctuary in the vast, unpredictable ocean. As the preparations reached completion, anticipation and anxiety filled the air. The crew, armed with rudimentary maps and navigational tools, were about to venture into largely uncharted waters. Their faith rested on the shoulders of Columbus, a man who believed in the roundness of the earth when many still feared they could sail off the edge. The day of departure dawned on August 3rd. The port of Palos de la Frontera, a small town on the southern coast of Spain, was a frenzy of activity. Families bid farewell to their loved ones, perhaps wondering if they would ever see them again. There was no guarantee of a successful voyage, let alone a safe return. As the 3 ships sailed out of the harbor, Columbus and his crew left behind the familiar landscapes of Europe. Ahead lay the vast expanse of the Atlantic, shrouded in mystery and filled with untold dangers and unimaginable wonders. Their journey was not just a physical voyage, but a leap of faith into the unknown. With 3 ships and a crew filled with hope and trepidation, Columbus set sail into the unknown. The journey was anything but smooth. There were storms, dwindling supplies, and a crew on the verge of mutiny. Setting sail from Palos de la Frontera in Spain on August 3, 1492, Columbus and his crew embarked on a voyage into the unknown. Aboard the 3 ships, the Santa Maria, the Pinta, and the Nina, the crew battled the elements and the uncertainties of their journey. For most of the voyage, the Atlantic was peaceful, but the calm waters didn't ease the crew's fears. As days turned into weeks, the morale of the men began to plummet. Food and fresh water became scarce, and the vast, endless ocean seemed to offer no hope. The crew, gripped by fear and despair, contemplated mutiny. But Columbus, with his unwavering determination, managed to quell the rising tide of rebellion. Then, on October 12, 1492, after more than 2 months at sea, the lookout on the Pinta, Rodrigo de Triana, spotted land. It was a moment of pure exhilaration, a moment that marked the end of their arduous journey and the beginning of a new chapter in human history. The land they had discovered was lush and tropical, a world away from the barren landscapes of Europe. It was a world filled with diverse flora and fauna, with palm trees swaying in the breeze and exotic birds filling the air with their songs. Columbus, believing he had reached the Indies, named the island San Salvador, meaning Holy Savior. He set foot on the island, followed by his crew, awestruck by the beauty of this new world. They encountered the native Lucayan people, who were curious and friendly, marking the first contact between Europeans and the indigenous peoples of the Americas. On October 12, 1492, Columbus and his crew set foot on a world unknown to them, a world they thought was the Indies. The New World was a paradise filled with strange plants, animals, and people who were different, yet fascinating. As Columbus and his crew disembarked upon the shores of the Bahamas, they were greeted by a world unknown to the Europeans. The air was heavy with the scent of exotic flora. The songs of unseen birds echoed through the lush greenery, and the beaches were dotted with curious faces of the native inhabitants. Columbus, ever the explorer, was quick to venture deeper into the islands. He was captivated by the tropical paradise that sprawled before him, a stark contrast to his homeland. The fruit-laden trees, the vibrant flowers, and the clear blue waters all painted a picture of an Eden, untouched by European hands. The indigenous people, the Tainos, watched these strange men with a mixture of fear and curiosity. They were unlike anyone they had seen before, with their pale skin, peculiar clothes, and strange language. Yet they welcomed these visitors, sharing their food, their homes, and their stories. Columbus and his men were equally curious about these new people. They marveled at the Tainos' elaborate body paintings, their intricate craftsmanship, and their unique way of life. The Europeans traded their trinkets for the natives' gold ornaments, fruits, and exotic birds, marking the beginning of an exchange of goods and cultures. Yet, this initial contact was not just an innocent exchange. Columbus, driven by his lust for gold and glory, saw these peaceful people as subjects to be conquered. He noted their innocence, their lack of weapons, their willingness to trade, and saw an opportunity. He reported back to the monarchs in Spain about the potential wealth and the ease of conquest, setting the stage for the centuries of exploitation and conflict that were to follow. Despite the apparent peace, the seeds of conflict and exploitation were sown. The age of exploration had dawned, but at a cost that would echo through the annals of history. Returning to Spain was a triumphant journey for Columbus, yet it was only the beginning of a complex legacy. With the New World's discovery under his belt, Columbus returned to Spain in 1493. The voyage back was not without its challenges, but the promise of what lay ahead fueled the crew's spirits. Upon arrival, Columbus was received with much acclaim. The Catholic monarchs, Queen Isabella and King Ferdinand, welcomed him as a hero. His tales of the New World, filled with exotic landscapes, unknown peoples, and promises of wealth, captivated the royal court and the populace alike. Columbus was not just a sailor anymore. He was the man who had expanded the known world. But with great discoveries come great responsibilities, and also great political implications. The New World was a fresh chessboard in the game of geopolitics. Spain, already a rising power, now had the advantage. It was an edge that would fuel competition, conflict, and conquest in the centuries to come. Columbus's journey was more than a daring voyage across the Atlantic. It was the spark that ignited the age of exploration. It drove Europeans to venture beyond their known horizons, forever changing the course of history. The world was no longer confined to Europe, Asia, and Africa. There was a whole new hemisphere to explore, to understand, and unfortunately to exploit. As for Columbus, his legacy is as vast and as varied as the world he helped unveil. He is seen as a daring explorer, a symbol of discovery, and a bringer of change. Yet he is also viewed as a harbinger of destruction for indigenous cultures. His voyages led to the colonization and decimation of native populations. It's a duality that makes his legacy a subject of endless debate and reflection. Columbus may not have found the route to the Indies, but he opened a new chapter in human history. His story is a testament to human ambition, curiosity, and the relentless pursuit of the unknown. It is a reminder of our capacity for discovery, but also a stark warning of the potential consequences. Over the centuries, the story of Columbus has been shrouded in myths and controversies. Some paint him as a brave and daring explorer, while others cast him as a ruthless opportunist. Sorting fact from fiction can be a challenge indeed. For instance, take the debate over Columbus's origin. While traditionally believed to hail from Genoa, Italy, some theories suggest he might have been Catalan, Portuguese, or even Polish. And then there's the contentious issue of his treatment of the natives. While Columbus did establish trade and diplomacy with some indigenous groups, he's also infamous for his harsh rule and the exploitation of native populations. As we delve into history, it's crucial to separate the man from the myth and the explorer from the exploiter. It's a journey of discovery, not just of new lands, but also of the complex and often contradictory nature of people who shape our world's history.